All right, let's do it. Welcome into the show. Coming up on today's San Francisco 49ers report, going into preseason game number 1 against the Tennessee Titans on Saturday, the 49ers have released a surprising depth chart. And we're going to react to all of those position battles and that depth chart coming up here on the program here today. But first, if you are ready for some Niners football as we approach Saturday's preseason opener, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video and a programming alert. Our watch parties here on the show are incredible. During that playoff run, we were getting millions of views. And we're back like we never left. Niners, Titans, Saturday night. Subscribe, hit that bell icon, turn on those notifications, and join us. Therefore, anytime we push out a show, anytime we go live, you will be alerted. Our pregame show begins at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, an hour before this game gets underway. Live play-by-play, audience interaction, super chat giveaways. We'll be reacting live together as the faithful to this game. Can't wait to see you all there. Let's begin at the quarterback position. And we immediately have some surprises here. Brock Purdy QB1. That is not a surprise. What is a surprise is that the backup quarterback role for the San Francisco 49ers is still in session. And it's still in doubt. And it is still a competition. When the Niners signed Josh Dobbs, you thought he was going to be a shoo-in to be this team's backup. But right now the Niners have Brandon Allen and Josh Dobbs neck and neck, both as kind of that quarterback too, fighting and jockeying to be the backup behind Brock Purdy. Now, I don't think as you look forward, that's a good problem to have, because I actually think if Brock Purdy were to get hurt, the Niners are not in a good spot with either Allen or Dobbs long term. But right now, both of those veterans still competing for the QB2 role. We flip the page to the running back spot. Christian McCaffrey coming off NFL Offensive Player of the Year honors. He is your Madden cover athlete, top 5 in MVP voting as a running back. So impressive with more than 2,000 all-purpose yards. He is most likely going to miss the entire preseason, according to head coach Kyle Shanahan, because of a calf strain. In the playoffs last year, was also dealing with a calf strain. So that's something we'll continue to monitor. But the backup running back position, who's going to get the carries behind CMC? Is it going to be Jordan Mason? Is it going to be Elijah Mitchell or Patrick Taylor, Cody Schrader, or Isaac Guerrero in the mix? The 49ers right now are very banged up at running back going into Saturday. I expect to see a heavy dosage of Jordan Mason, and in fact, that's something that I want to see. But because the Niners have suffered injuries there, that's why this week they signed Matt Breida, bringing him back after he started his career with the Niners from 2017 through 2019. They signed Keyshawn Vaughn to the team. And I also expect that we're going to see a lot from Cody Schrader, who is going to impress a lot of people in this game against Tennessee because he was born to be a football player. Of course, at the fullback position, this goes without saying, Juice Kyle Juszczyk, this team's lone fullback, and this year there's no competition for that role. To wide receiver, the Niners still have Brandon Aiyuk listed as their wide receiver 1. Deebo Samuel has had an extraordinary training camp. He's their wide receiver 2, and Jawad Jennings has been fantastic as well. Probably the best camp that he's had in his professional career. How many wide receivers are the Niners going to keep on this 53-man roster? And those latter spots, who gets them? Ricky Pearsall will make the club. Jacob Cowing not listed on the depth chart by the Niners, but I expect him to make the team. Chris Conley has had a really good training camp. Ronnie Bell has some special teams ability. But right now, Pearsall, in addition to Danny Gray, they're banged up. We might not see them and probably won't see them on Saturday night. Not a good thing for Danny Gray. He has one career catch for 10 yards since being a third-round pick in 2022. I think that he should gut it out and try to play. So the big takeaway here is that Aiyuk still listed as the top wide receiver. It just doesn't make any sense to trade him away unless the Niners get blown away by an offer where they can trade Aiyuk to, let's say, the Pittsburgh Steelers, get some draft picks back, flip those picks for either Devontae Adams or T. Higgins, and hope that they can replace Brandon Aiyuk. But why not just keep Brandon Aiyuk on this team? Because you know he's a very, very special player who understands this scheme. We'll continue to see what happens on the Aiyuk front. This story that seemingly never ends. Tight end. This is also a surprise. George Kittle, tight end 1. He was an All-Pro last year, the only tight end in the NFL, actually, to have more than 1,000 receiving yards. After him, we don't know who's going to be the backup tight end. Eric Saubert listed as tight end 2. I think that's just because he's a veteran, but he's been a journeyman for a reason. Braden Willis has had a solid camp. Cam Latu, fire him to the sun. Jay Tongas is in the mix, I guess. Logan Thomas was listed as the last tight end on the depth chart. I expect him to make this team. And then Mason Pline, former basketball player. The athleticism shows. Ideally, he could be a practice squad player for this team. No Trent Williams along the offensive line on this depth chart for the Niners. So you have Brandon Aiyuk on the depth chart, Trent Williams not. In his place, Jalen Moore, left guard Aaron Banks, Jake Brendel at center, Spencer Burford at right guard, even though Dominic Pooney has been getting some first-team snaps there. Colton McKivitz at right tackle. The backup spots, you have Chris Hubbard, who can play both tackle spots, Nick Sakel, who can play guard and center, Ben Barch is a backup center, Drake Nugent, the third-string center. I'm excited to see him in preseason game number 1. John Feliciano, Brandon Parker, Isaac Alarcon, Sebastian Gutierrez. I think that Dominic Pooney is obviously going to rise up the depth chart here. He could start in this game on Saturday, and if he plays well, he could be this team starting right guard in week 1. But right now, he's listed as a third stringer. So no Trent Williams, but BA is listed. I just don't understand what the Niners are thinking there. And Dominic Pooney is a third stringer. He's been one of the best offensive linemen throughout training camp so far. Again, unofficial depth chart released by the team, and it's the all-too-early depth chart. But still, some takeaways here on the show. And today's show is sponsored by our friends at Game Time. If you're looking for the best seats at the lowest price guaranteed, an app in which prices drop as the event gets closer, an app in which you get the lowest price guaranteed for tickets to a sporting event, a comedy show, a concert, a theater event. Game Time has you covered. You get $20 off if you use the code CHATSPORTS, if you download the Game Time app today. So in addition to all of that, why I love this app, you get last-minute tickets and flash deals, views from your seats before you buy, so you know what to expect when you arrive, and their lowest price guarantee is awesome. They guarantee that they have the lowest price among all ticketing apps on the Game Time app. You want to go to a Niners preseason game in Nashville against the Titans, or at home against the Saints, on the road in Las Vegas against the Raiders, still plenty of tickets available. I also like the views that you get on the app. For instance, this photo right here, I could see the view from section 218, row 21 at Levi Stadium. Or if you're particular about where you want to sit, you can look down at the seats and you can pick a spot within the stadium that you prefer. You want to go to a San Francisco Giants game, that, of course, is an option as well. So take the guesswork out of buying either Major League Baseball, NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, $20 off. Terms apply. That's the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS. Last-minute tickets. Lowest price, guaranteed. Now we go to the defensive side of the football. Drake Jackson, out for the year, more on that in a moment, so he's not going to be in the mix here. I like the making and the makeup of this front four. Leonard Floyd, 4 straight years of 9+ sacks. Malik Collins, been better and more durable as compared to Eric Armstead. Javon Hargrave, hoping for a bounce-back season after he was disappointing last year. Nick Bosa was still elite, but his sack numbers went down from 18.5 by about 8 sacks. Can he get back up to 15+ sacks? I think so. Yetur Gross-Matos gives you inside-outside flexibility. Backup defensive tackle, a little bit of a question mark for me. Kevin Givens, Jordan Elliott. The latter, Elliott, pretty good against the run. A big reason why the Niners brought him in. You have T.Y. McGill, Kalia Davis, and then your other edge rushers, Robert Beal Jr. If you can get some production from him, that'd be great. Austin Bryant, Alex Barrett in the mix there as well. And to the news that broke on Thursday, Drake Jackson out for the year. The 2022 second-round pick out of USC has been placed on the reserve PUP list after getting surgery on his patellar tendon last year. This has been a long and windy recovery for him, and unfortunately for the Niners, that 2022 draft class outside of Brock Purdy, not looking good. Linebackers, I think there could be some changes here. Demetrius Flanagan fouls, Fred Warner, Devondre Campbell, your starters and your first stringers as of right now, of course, as Dre Greenlaw continues that recovery off the torn Achilles. I think he's going to start the season on PUP. But you think about Jalen Graham and D. Winters, right now listed as second stringers. I think that they could earn some more snaps. And with the player like D. Winters, and by the way, Tatum Bethune, 7th round pick, and Ezekiel Turner, a career special teamer on the depth chart as well. But with D. Winters, watch out for him. He has gotten some first-team snaps over the last several days during Niners training camp. He could start over Devondre Campbell. The only thing really holding him back is that the Niners have a preference of starting veterans over younger players, but D. Winters, Jalen Graham, they've been flying around. We saw their speed sideline to sideline on display last year during the preseason, and they're making strides forward. Cornerback, Niners are very deep here, and interestingly enough, they have Charvarius Ward and Diamador Lenore listed as the outside corners, but also they have Diamador Lenore listed as a nickel corner. In a non-true, unrealistic world, you could have a Diamador Lenore clone, and he could play outside corner and in the slot. Unfortunately, that is not reality. He can't play two positions at once. So who will start at slot nickel? Who will be the backups on the outside? Players in the mix there, Ambry Thomas, Isaac Yiadom, Rock Ya-Sin, Darrell Luter Jr., Samuel Womack. I think who we could see inside is Renardo Green. It's a healthy competition. You have some risk there because he is a rookie. You could also start Isaac Yiadom on the outside and start Diamador Lenore on the inside. A couple of different avenues in which you could approach the cornerback position, outside, inside, if you're San Francisco. But either way, a good competition to keep an eye on here during preseason and training camp play. Safety. Jair Brown, George Odom, the two starters right now because Talanoa Hufanga coming off that torn ACL. Safety depth, a little bit of an issue. Malik Mustafa had an injury scare earlier this week, but he did return to practice on Thursday. He's a freak athlete with really good range. I think he could see some snaps as a rookie. George Odom has had a terrific training camp. On Wednesday, he picked off Brock Purdy twice. Inside track it, starting alongside Jair Brown, in my opinion. The Niners did sign Tracy Walker on Wednesday, so he wasn't included on the depth chart, but he's getting up to speed right now. Specialists, no surprises here. Jake Moody, your place kicker. Mitch Wishnowsky has been dealing with an injury, so he's not going to play in this game, I don't think, on Saturday. So that's why the Niners have brought in some punters for workouts throughout training camp. He has to get better. He's coming off a career year from last year, and special teams do matter. Tabor Pepper, this team's long snapper. And then to the returners, Trent Taylor listed as the first-string punt returner. Sure-handed, not explosive. He's not going to really flip the field on its head with an explosive return, but he's not going to drop punts, and he's going to be sure-handed with the ball. I think you take a step back from Ray McLeod to him. Ronnie Bell listed as the first-string kick returner. I actually like this with the new kickoff rule because Ronnie Bell runs with a lot of physicality. Ronnie Bell also listed as the backup punt returner. And then the backup kick returners, Ricky Pearsall and Trent Taylor there. Ricky Pearsall could impact this team on special teams a little bit as a return man. So with that, that is an in-depth look at this Niners 2024 roster and some of the position battles that are included within it. Scale this Niners roster on the Madden scale from 1 to 100. 1, they suck. 100, they're elite. Let me know down in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe. And we'll see you Saturday night for our Niners-Titans preseason watch party. Let's go.